and welcome to Connect. Today, we're going to talk about the Metaverse. I want to share what we imagine is possible, the experiences you'll have, the creative economy we'll all build, and the technology that needs to be invented, as well as how we're going to all do this together. The basic story of technology in our lifetimes is how it's given us the power to express ourselves and experience the world with ever greater richness. Back when I started Facebook, that mostly meant text that we typed on computers. Then we all got phones with cameras, and the internet became much more visual. And recently, as connections got faster, video has become the main way that we experience content. We've gone from desktop to web to phones, from text to photos to video, but this isn't the end of the line. The next platform and medium will be even more immersive, an embodied internet where you're in the experience, not just looking at it. And we call this the Metaverse. And you're going to be able to do almost anything you can imagine. Get together with friends and family, work, learn, play, shop, create, as well as entirely new categories that don't really fit how we think about computers or phones today. Now, since we're doing this remotely today, I figured let's make this special. So we've put together something that I think is really going to give you a feeling for what this future could be like. We believe the Metaverse will be the successor to the mobile internet. We'll be able to feel present, like we're right there with people, no matter how far apart we actually are. We'll be able to express ourselves in new, joyful, completely immersive ways, and that's going to unlock a lot of amazing new experiences. When I send my parents a video of my kids, they're going to feel like they're right in the moment with us, not peering through a little window. When you play a game with your friends, you'll feel like you're right there together in a different world, not just on your computer by yourself. And when you're in a meeting in the Metaverse, it'll feel like you're right in the room together, making eye contact, having a shared sense of space, and not just looking at a grid of faces on a screen. That's what we mean by an embodied internet. Instead of looking at a screen, you're going to be in these experiences. Everything we do online today, connecting socially, entertainment, games, work, is going to be more natural and vivid. This isn't about spending more time on screens. It's about making the time that we already spend better. Screens just can't convey the full range of human expression and connection. They can't deliver that deep feeling of presence. But the next version of the internet can. That's what we should be working towards. Technology that's built around people and how we actually experience the world and interact with each other. That's what the Metaverse is all about. Now, the best way to understand the Metaverse is to experience it yourself, but it's a little tough because it doesn't fully exist yet. Some of the basic building blocks are here though, and others are starting to emerge as we speak. We're starting to get a sense of how it could all come together and what it could feel like. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. Rather than just focusing on this year's products like a normal keynote, we're going to talk about the future. So let's start by exploring what different kinds of Metaverse experiences could feel like, starting with the most important experience of all, connecting with people.
Welcome back to Crash and Eddie. Eddie flying solo today, people. Crash is on the road. He will be joining us in the next couple shows or so. But wanted to get one out and we got kind of an interesting show today. We're going to talk a little bit about the Metaverse. You guys have probably heard that term, what is it? What is the Metaverse? A lot of people think different things, have different concepts of it, so we'll kind of give you ours. I'll give you mine. And Crash will weigh in on another show, and we'll talk some more about it. This isn't going away. It's something that you want to kind of get your head around. What is it? How can you leverage it? What do you want to avoid? What do you, just put some thought around it. It's a concept that you definitely want to get your head around. They've introduced cryptos to us. They've introduced NFTs to us. Both of these are necessary for the Metaverse. And now they're introducing the Metaverse to us. So you put crypto together, decentralized networks, NFTs, and voila, you got something called the Metaverse. So This is Zuckerberg's. He just came out with a presentation, I don't know, maybe a week ago, to the world, basically, and to his company. They've renamed their company Meta. And so Facebook, the parent company, Facebook, is now called Meta. The app, I think, is still going to be Facebook. But this is his concept of what he wants to create. So let's take a little closer look at what he's thinking and where they're going to go with what they call the Metaverse. But before we do that, hit the like and subscribe. Give us a follow. Go to our Twitter. Do whatever you can to help the channel. We appreciate it. You guys have been coming on strong. So, just our goal is to give you guys a lot to think about and just to give you the most information that we can that's important. Things that are important. Things that are kind of cutting edge with technology and finance. And just remember, this is not financial advice. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Quick market update. We got notified of more stuff going on in the healthcare industry. So I think that's affected some things, but I think it's more whales really moving coins around and taking this opportunity to kind of dump the market. Although it's not dumped. I mean, Bitcoin's 54.7, Ethereum's just over 4,000. XRP did go below $1, so people are freaking out about that. There's significant airdrops coming up. We're gonna do another video on those just to make sure you guys are in the loop on those. So we'll talk more about that. But Crypto.com has been on fire. It's up to 80 cents since we last talked. I think it was around 25 or something. So another one that is near and dear to our heart is Gala Games. They touch on the Metaverse, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. But that one's up to 65 cents on a tear. And their first game token, which is Town Coin, actually, is also on a tear. That one is up to $1.57. So playing Town Star, you actually get this coin. It's play to earn, and we'll kind of give you our take on that versus the Metaverse as we go along here. But that's just a quick market update for November 27th, 2021, as we go to the end of the year and kind of see where crypto is going to go and what's going to happen with finance in general, but crypto specifically. So let's take another peek, just a little closer look into Meta with Zuck and see what he's thinking about what's going on here.
Imagine you put on your glasses or headset and you're instantly in your home space. It has parts of your physical home recreated virtually, it has things that are only possible virtually, and it has an incredibly inspiring view of whatever you find most beautiful.
Hey, are you coming?
Yeah, just gotta find something to wear. Alright, perfect.
Boy.
Oh, hey, Mark. Hey, what's going on?
Hey,
Hi, Mark.
What's up, Mark?
Whoa, we're floating in space?
Uh-huh.
Who made this place? It's awesome.
Right? It's from a creator I met in LA.
This place is amazing.
Boz, is that you?
Of course it's me. You know I had to be the robot, man.
I thought I was supposed to be the robot.
Whoa.
I knew you were bluffing.
Hey, wait. Where is Naomi?
Let's call her.
Naomi.
Hey, should we deal you in?
Sorry, I'm running late, but you've got to see what we're checking out. There's an artist going around Soho hiding AR pieces for people to find.
3D street art? That's cool.
Send that link over so we can all look at it. This is stunning.
That is something.
It's awesome.
I love the movement.
Wait, it's disappeared.
This is amazing.
Hold on. I'll tip the artist and they'll extend it.
Wow. Brilliant.
If you guys like it here, I have another room that you're gonna love. Check out this forest room.
Huh, let's see it.
Koi fish that fly? That's new.
This is wild. Hey, one sec, Boz. It's Priscilla.
Hey, you have to see this. Beast is going crazy.
Oh, I love that guy. We've got to show that to the kids. Can you also send that to my dad?
I'll message him.
All right, see you at home. This place is great, Boz, but there's something I got to get back to. All right, so that's a glimpse of a few ways that we're going to be able to get together and socialize in the metaverse. It's a ways off, but you can start to see some of the fundamental building blocks take shape. First, the feeling of presence. This is the defining quality of the metaverse. You're going to really feel like you're there with other people. You'll see their facial expressions, you'll see their body language, maybe figure out if they're actually holding a winning hand. All the subtle ways that we communicate that today's technology can't quite deliver. Next, there are avatars, and that's how we're going to represent ourselves in the metaverse. Avatars will be as common as profile pictures today, but instead of a static image, they're going to be living 3D representations of you. Your expressions, your gestures, that are going to make interactions much richer than anything that's possible online today. You'll probably have a photorealistic avatar for work, a stylized one for hanging out, and maybe even a fantasy one for gaming. You're going to have a wardrobe of virtual clothes for different occasions, designed by different creators and from different apps and experiences. Importantly, you should be able to bring your avatar and digital items across different apps and experiences in the metaverse. Beyond avatars, there is your home space. You're going to be able to design it to look the way you want, maybe put up your own pictures and videos and store your digital goods. You're going to be able to invite people over, play games and hang out. You'll also even have a home office where you can work. Your home is your personal space from which you can teleport to anywhere you want. Now, speaking of teleporting, there are going to be all kinds of different spaces that people make. Rooms like the ones that we just saw, but also games and whole worlds that you can teleport in and out of whenever you want. Teleporting around the metaverse is going to be like clicking a link on the internet. It's an open standard. In order to unlock the potential of the metaverse, there needs to be interoperability. And that goes beyond just taking your avatar and digital items across different apps and experiences, which we are already building an API to support. You want to know that when you buy something or create something, that your items will be useful in a lot of contexts and you're not going to be locked into one world or platform. You want to know that you own your items, not a platform. Now, this is going to require not just technical work, like some of the important projects that are going on around crypto and NFTs in the community now. It's also going to take ecosystem building, norm setting, and new forms of governance. And this is something that we're really going to focus on. Privacy and safety need to be built into the metaverse from day one. You'll get to decide when you want to be with other people, when you want to block someone from appearing in your space, or when you want to take a break and teleport to a private bubble to be alone. You're going to be able to bring things from the physical world into the metaverse. Almost any type of media that can be represented digitally, photos, videos, art, music, movies, books, games, you name it. Lots of things that are physical today, like screens, will just be able to be holograms in the future. You won't need a physical TV, it'll just be a $1 hologram from some high school kid halfway across the world. And you'll be able to take your items and project them into the physical world as holograms in augmented reality too. You're going to be able to move across these different experiences on all kinds of different devices, sometimes using virtual reality so you're fully immersed, sometimes using augmented reality glasses so you can be present in the physical world as well, and sometimes on a computer or phone so you can quickly jump into the metaverse from existing platforms. There are going to be new ways of interacting with devices that are much more natural. Instead of typing or tapping, you're going to be able to gesture with your hands, say a few words, or even just make things happen by thinking about them. Your devices won't be the focal point of your attention anymore. Instead of getting in the way, they're going to give you a sense of presence in the new experiences that you're having and the people who you're with. And these are some of the basic concepts for the metaverse. And while this may sound like science fiction, we're starting to see a lot of these technologies coming together. In the next 5 or 10 years, a lot of this is going to be mainstream. And a lot of us will be creating and inhabiting worlds that are just as detailed and convincing as this one on a daily basis. So even though it's still a long way off, we're starting to work on some of these foundational concepts today. Horizon is the social platform that we're building for people to create and interact in the metaverse. One part of this is Horizon Home, which is our early vision for a home space in the metaverse. Horizon Home is the first thing that you'll see when you put on your Quest headset. Today, there are already a bunch of options to choose from, and in the future, anyone will be able to create one. We've just called it Home until now because it's been missing something very important: people. Soon, we're going to be introducing a social version of Home, where you can invite your friends to join you as avatars. You'll be able to hang out, watch videos together, and jump into apps together. Then, there is Horizon Worlds, which is where you can build worlds and jump into them with people. Horizon is designed to make it possible for everyone to create, and we're already seeing people build some really interesting experiences, from creating new games together to throwing surprise parties in VR that family and friends around the world can join. We started rolling out Horizon Worlds in beta last year, and we're adding more people and more worlds every day. And we also just launched Horizon Workrooms earlier this year for collaboration.
So yeah, that's his take on the metaverse. So the metaverse is rather undefined. You know, it's really Web3. It's virtual reality. It can be. Doesn't necessarily have to be. But they want it to be. I mean, keep in mind, Facebook's got $2 billion into virtual reality, and it's, for all intents and purposes, it's gone kind of nowhere, you know, as far as like really scaling to the masses. Most people, from what I understand, try it once and put it down. It's cool, is my understanding, but something I don't think people are going to plug into this daily to go to work. So it's interesting. They're putting about $5 billion a year into the metaverse is what I'm hearing. So we'll kind of see where this goes, but there's one other video that I want to have you take a look at. I'll link this one below with Zuck. You know, you should listen to the whole thing. You'll definitely learn stuff from it. It's you know, some things you might consider kind of creepy. And you know, the thing is, they talk about privacy and security, but I didn't hear anything about owning your own data, and that's really where this needs to go. We need to be able to own and control our own data. Once you can do that, that's a little bit different. So we'll kind of see. We'll keep watching this stuff, but there's one other video with Raoul Paul that it has a little different take on it, and I think it's a little more reasonable. We'll also take a look at Gala Games, because they are creating kind of a they're being placed in the metaverse space, and I agree that they are, but they have a little different take on things. So give me a second here. So this is Gala's website. They're just a pure gaming company, but it's blockchain gaming only. So this is play to earn. And they're creating sort of all their games are going to kind of form a metaverse. And there isn't really one metaverse. I mean, I think they're going to be interconnected in some way, but they have, Townstar is is their kind of flagship game where they actually have that token that's out. All their games are going to have tokens. They also have kind of a node ecosystem. So it's different ways that players can make money, and they're getting feedback from players that play these things where they're changing lives. They actually do make a sustainable money where they can actually live and help their families. And this stuff's global, so it's all over the world, but they have a number of different games coming out. People are really, the reason their token is taken off, I think, to a large extent, is they're kind of being portrayed as creating a metaverse, and I guess they are. It's different. It's more, instead of being tracked around and collecting your data and selling ads and all that stuff, it's about gameplay, and it's about owning your games and owning your NFTs. And some of the stuff that Zuckerberg talked about was, I think spot on as far as ownership and crypto and things like that. But this is just kind of another take. I think more realistic with the metaverse is going to be kind of gaming, and there's quite a few different game tokens that, in fact, let's take a look at some that really they're kind of considered. Let's see here. There's one. It's called Block. I think Blockify or something. Blocktopia. This one is, they're creating a metaverse. When you compare these to Gala, they're very much behind. It's a different animal. This is a little one, but they are, creating kind of a virtual reality metaverse game. Again, this is in the gaming space. Another big one is Sandbox, which is, of course, one of the biggest ones, Axie Infinity. These guys are, it's one game, but they're kind of, it's play to earn, and that's kind of where this stuff's going, where it's you're combining play to earn, the metaverse, and some other cutting edge technology, decentralization. It's all, these are cryptos, so they're all decentralized. Another, let's take a look here. Sandbox that has really climbed up the ranks here. That is the Sandbox. And these are fairly early. I mean, you can build in these. The tokenomics are all different. I haven't seen one really that's doing what Gala is doing as far as the tokens. Each game's going to have their own token, and they have this node ecosystem that they're building out that is really going to allow them to scale, because he talked about, I guess we'll see some things about scalability where they talk about even having, thousands of people on at once. It's difficult from a scaling standpoint and experiencing the same thing. But when you go to this node system, it's a lot more doable. So very interesting concept that Gala's got going. It's definitely an interesting token and an interesting company. They're one of the only, I think they're the only gaming company that has taken no VC money either, which is, boy, that's a feat to behold. So, and they know what they're doing as far as building games. They got quite a team. So, again, not financial advice, just for educational purposes only, but I wanted to expose you guys to some metaverse stuff, what's going on with it. Let's take a look at one other video real quick. I just want you to hear an excerpt of, this is Raoul Paul and let me see who the other guy was. Hold on here. Yeah, Raoul Paul and Piers Kicks. So I'm not that familiar with him, but it's kind of interesting. Here we go.
But what's been fascinating, you wrote a phenomenal article about the metaverse and how you see it, because most people, again, they kind of think this is a finance thing. They're kind of starting to get tokens, but there's a lot of uproar, like, this is bullshit, this is all... People don't get the really big picture. And you wrote a phenomenal article about the really big picture, because you've lived in a digital world, right? I never lived in a digital world. Yeah, I played arcade games. I grew up on Space Invaders, but it wasn't the same way. We didn't interact with each other in games as much. You've lived in a digital world. So what, and that's a difficult question, but lay it out on us. Where do you think this is all going? Because you've got a very complex, nuanced idea.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, obviously you use the word metaverse. Increasingly, people are familiar with that term. But
what do you mean by it first?
I actually have a definition that I usually whip out, but I mean, I'm going to fail if it's off the top of my head. But so the metaverse I define as a persistent live digital universe that affords individuals a sense of agency, social presence, and shared spatial awareness, along with the ability to participate in an extensive virtual economy with societal impact. I always point out that last part is borrowed from Tim Sweeney directly, who's the founder and CEO of Epic Games, the builders of the Unreal Engine, which supports most large, graphically intense video games out there, as well as Fortnite, which most people will be familiar with by now. But effectively, even since kind of the early 90s and late 80s, there was this idea with popular with sort of sci-fi authors like Neil Stephenson and William Gibson at the time as well, of us evolving into this shared, persistent virtual world where hundreds of millions or billions of people will live simultaneously.
This is the Ready Player One world.
It is, exactly. I mean, that's an incarnation of it. It's one that if you're to scrutinize, it's probably not one we want in many respects, and it's also the reason why all of this tech becomes really interesting to this stuff. But the broader idea is just that we're going to continue to sort of evolve as a digital species until the point where a vast amount of value is sort of created and consumed in digital worlds. They will, to some extent, the nature of our sort of interpersonal interactions within these virtual digital mediums is also going to evolve to the point where, we can at least with reasonable efficacy replicate like your dominant social cues, eye contact, body language, facial expressions, that stuff's all coming. But I mean, that's obviously an idea that's always excited me enormously. It's an idea that to my mind is a total inevitability. And it's also an idea that, as many rightly point out, like we're already seeing the early instances of that, right? I mean, a lot of the things that are kind of described in that, parts of them happen in a rudimentary form already. Obviously, COVID is a big sort of catalyst for some of these trends. Like more and more people are spending more time digitally. But for me, there's this sort of inevitable intersection with decentralized networks and all of these technologies coming out of crypto. And I mean, effectively, these tools that we now have in terms of building these robust, decentralized sort of networks that can replicate some of the functions that either currently exist around finance. Obviously, we're seeing with sort of Bitcoin and stuff, but we're beginning to see built off platforms like Ethereum, us be able to replicate some of the applications from Web 2, but not beholden to these sort of Web 2 business models anymore. The value extractive, ad driven, often sort of exploitative business models that underpin Web 2. And I mean, that's the really exciting part for me, is that with these new tools, we can actually build towards the Ready Player One world, where it's not, the Oasis isn't owned by a single company, rather a decentralized network supported by however many millions of computers around the globe. And where, there isn't sort of, I mean, obviously the loyalty centers and whatnot in Ready Player One aren't exactly a world we want to get to, but yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So what you're thinking is, as we spend more time immersing in a new digital world, that we end up creating value, exchanging value, earning, all within that world. So it doesn't necessarily have to exist in the physical world at all. And there's an equivalence between physical value and digital value. I guess that's where you're seeing this all going, right?
Absolutely, and I'd argue that, like, you know, at least for me and some of my peers, like, they're already growing up with the vast majority of their net worths or whatever in natively digital value, in value that would actually be difficult to pull into the real world in like fiat currency. You know, there's like frictions associated with some of that. I think there is an entirely new generation that are growing up where that concept of like digital value is just super intuitive, and like it's almost weird to like draw a distinction between like physical and digital there. I mean, I know, you know, the vast majority of you know, sort of people I've grown up playing games with, my brothers, whatever, take enormous pride in the, albeit in a video game, or albeit some, you know, crypto collectibles through NFTs now, or you know, a portfolio of sort of investments you built yourself in crypto. Now people take like enormous pride in those, and yeah, they obviously aren't purely
for
digital.
me, it's no different than the fact that I will overpay for a T-shirt because I want to buy it from a particular designer. You know, it's probably worth $2 to make, but I'll pay 50 because I want to affiliate myself with that brand. I mean, that's as ridiculous as a human trait, and an equivalent human trait to doing the same digitally. Why would you not? If you're representing yourself in the digital world, whether it's clothing or whether it's anything else, whether it's a sword in a game or whatever it may be, it's the same trait. Just because it's digital doesn't make it different, I think.
Wow, Paul. So, yeah, have a listen to that. We'll drop that link down below as well. I would listen to that entire video. Very interesting. And, you know, it's this stuff. It's why we bring it to you. It's not going away. This is something that you don't want to be left behind. So definitely pay attention to what's going on. And, that's kind of our intro to the metaverse. We'll talk more about it, and we'll get Crash's take on it when he gets back in the groove here off the road. So drop a like and subscribe. Don't forget to do that if you think of it, and or dislike if you think we stink. You know, you're mad because Crash isn't involved. You know, let us know. And give us a comment. We love that. Crash is telling me Solana, too, is coming out with something metaverse related, I believe. Or was it play to earn? I'm not sure. We'll have to get to him on that. So have a great week ahead. That's it for this show. Do the right thing and don't get left behind. Dig into this. It'll be worth your while. And we'll talk to you real soon. Talk to you later.